VPT's own Jon Margolis talks about writing the book, The Last Innocent Year, America in 1964.
It was a very political year in America. I had been a political journalist for a long time at that point, written about almost all the issues that kind of started in 1964. War and peace, start of the war on poverty. It was also the year people started to burn their draft cards, which at that time was not illegal. It was the year that people who had, that all kinds of things that people had been afraid to say in public, like I'm smoking marijuana, or I'm living with this young man or young woman with whom I'm not married, they began to say it, or at least to acknowledge it in public. It was the year that, in a way, the war in Vietnam started. It really happened because of the Gulf of Tonkin incident. It was the year the Civil Rights Bill was passed. Hubert Humphrey called it our Freedom Year. It was the year of the Goldwater candidacy, which failed, but in failing, gave birth to a political movement which then succeeded. Things sort of came out. Things that were bubbling below the surface came up to the surface and beyond it. And I think, in fact, the sort of tagline of the title of the book is the beginning of the 60s, in quotes. And I think that is, as much as any, the year it really began. People asserting their selfhood in a way that had not been done before, at least not in the same way. As I say in the very first words of the book, we were never innocent. We started off as a slave society in the process of getting rid of the folks who were here before European Americans got here. But there was a time when the delusion of American innocence was believable and was believed. And I think 64 was the year that ended. And really, in a way, November 22nd, 63 was when it ended, but it didn't sink in. It kept sinking in all that year. I'd say Richard Nixon's re-election was the end of the 60s, or perhaps might put it, George McGovern's defeat in '72 was the end of the 60s.